Hey guys, I'm back. Hopefully you can see my video here. Please do let me know if you are able to log in and see the video here. Let me go ahead and copy the link over here for other people to join from X as well. Just give me 1 second. I don't know what happened. With these kind of technical difficulties, sometimes you just don't know why, and that's okay. We're just gonna work it out and we're gonna keep going. There's no big deal. But please do let me know if you're joining the live stream, if you can see the video. I glitched out while talking about Tesla. Yeah, it happens. All right, so let me go ahead and post this over on X here too. New link of my live stream. Got glitched out. Please use this link instead. Can go ahead and add the thumbnail there so people can cache this over there. There you go. All right. So now you can see my screen. Yeah, talking about Tesla. I just want to end here by saying that this is a higher high, higher low type situation. Really, since April 2024, is trying to find a higher low here. I really do think that the levels that you could find higher low as was either going to be at the arc over here, at the 0.786 down here. It broke down underneath the 0.86, right? Well, the month is still not over yet. We still have another week. Maybe it ends up closing above that. I doubt it. But the most important thing is bounce out of the Tenkan over here. So you have a whole variety of support levels. You see how there's a ton of support level down here below at the ARC, at the Tenkan, at the 0.786, and at the Kitchen over here, right? So tons of support down here below. The lower it gets on low volume, the better risk reward ratio there is. And as far as I'm concerned, this downtrend here was a little bit exhausted because the volume is really, really kind of low here for last week. So I'm just not sure about any of this downtrend here. I think it's a little bit fishy. I'm not gonna trust this whole downtrend here. If anything, like the week before, you have a high volume, kind of like a bit of a dragonfly candle over here. So I do think that this downtrend is getting close to be over. It can go all the way down to 300, and I'm still going to be bullish on it. If you are over leveraged, or if you're at risk for margin call, I cannot help you, because I'm eyeing like if it goes down to that level, I might try to rebalance a little bit more to get into more Tesla, because I see that's a pretty decent risk reward ratio here. Just simply looking at the fact that on the monthly, it looks like a pretty decent bull trend. Simply just got way too far, way too fast here, and we simply just got rejected here at the previous all-time high, and we're just trying to form a higher low before pushing up higher. How long does it go and how low does it go? Nobody really knows. I don't really care. Anyway, talk about NVIDIA, because I think people want to know about NVIDIA. Now I'm going to go to AMD. I'm going to go to the Max 7 here real quick. I'm going to speed through them like never before. I'm going to just seriously speed for it. What do I think about NVIDIA? Late cycle, bullish band expansion, early cycle, bullish band contraction, late cycle, right? Same thing happened last cycle, same thing happened last cycle, right? Expansion, early cycle, contraction, late cycle, expansion, early cycle, contraction, late cycle. When it gets to very, very much contracted, you can have a leg up further, use you as exit liquidity, and then plummets, right? Exit liquidity over plummets, right? Are we going to find people that's exit liquidity? How high is it going to go? Is it going to go to like 350? Is it going to go to like 230? Those are 228 to be precise. Those are my couple of levels here. I think the sideways over here very similar to the sideways over here. It's very similar to the sideways over here. And I think we're getting a little bit closer towards the end of this. If I look at Ichimoku, it is bouncing off the Tenkan. It does look a little bit tired because the Tenkan is just kind of like, meh, but it is bouncing off the Tenkan here still. If I look at the FIB level and also look at the arc here, I think it's basically broke through the arc here, back tested the arc after it got rejected at the 2.272, and I think it's holding up pretty strong so far. So do I think that it's going to have to flush all the way down to like the 80s, grab further liquidity? Probably not. Can it happen? Maybe. If it does, I don't know. That might be a cycle ender right there. But if it's able to hold the arc up here, and if it has enough juice to kind of push to the 2.272, which is amazing, by the way, then you're talking about 228, and you're talking about 350, right? That's it. Talking about AMD here real quick too. It's actually holding pretty well so far. I think the 0.618 here is a pretty good level. Price has been going down a low volume. Maybe this is it. If it goes down further to the Ichimoku cloud down here in 0.5, $94, somewhere around there, then that's like sell the kidney, buy AMD kind of thing. But I don't know. It's not financial advice, but I just think if this thing keeps on going down low volume, the lower it goes, the better risk reward ratio it is. It just fell down underneath through the log golden pocket between 0.618 and 0.786. This is not a bearish thing. Is at a lower part of this new range probably. So yeah, I would say it's a decent area to buy if you want to buy that. I do think that it might take some time to kind of break through the golden pocket here above the 0.786 and keep on going higher, because you do have a little bit of a flattened 20-month moving average. I think it's going to serve as resistance. You might need to kind of push maybe for a few months before further bullish continuation. That's kind of what I think about AMD, but it's a pretty decent area to buy there. Going through the rest of the Max 7 here real quick. Why not, right? It's Microsoft, what I think, a little bit around the top. Why is that? Because it's hitting an arc over here. You see how great market symmetry this Microsoft chart has a hard time breaking through the arc here, broke through, went to the horizontal, got rejected, came back to the arc, back tested in 2022, went up to try and break through the horizontal there. Initially got rejected, had that 3 candle over here in late 2023, scaring everybody off. Next day they just push up to the next arc, right? What happens now is stuck in the arc almost perfectly. Where is that right now? At the bottom of the arc, right? Which means it's the bottom of the range. Doesn't mean that we could break up from here moving forward. Well, it depends if it breaks down or not. It's stuck in the range. Is at the bottom of the range. I think traders are probably want to come in and try to buy it, minimally trying to push it back up to the top of the range. This is just consolidation. It does look like around the top. It does make you wonder whether or not things are just getting so exhausted that the trend's going to change. But this is also one of those stocks that the 20-month moving average is still right there. And whenever it's done consolidating, maybe it's just waiting for 20 to kind of come up and kind of push price a lot higher. We'll see, right? As far as I'm concerned, I think Microsoft is having a hard time really breaking above the 1.414, which is, again, a very, very important FIB level, right? I just show you that for pound here. Microsoft's having a hard time, and it's consolidating sideways over for quite some time, trying to break above that level. We'll see whether or not it breaks. I think the rising 20-month moving average is probably going to be able to push it up. Why is Meta rejected here? I was talking about the same thing, right? 1.414, right? I have people who are like, yeah, no, Meta's going to go a lot higher. Fundamentals great, like all that stuff, right? The trend is up. Yeah, the trend is up. It's a bullish chart. There's no doubt about it. Is it overextended? Yeah, it is. It's way over the Tenkan up here, right? Whenever price get a little bit too far away from the Tenkan, you end up getting punched through sideways for time, right? Sometimes through price. Whenever you get a little bit too far, right? We got a little bit too far, probably sideways through time here. It could go back down through price too. I don't care each way. It doesn't really matter to me. I don't really have a position in Meta. I just have exposure for index funds, right? But it's perfectly getting rejected over here, and it perfectly makes sense because it's a little bit too far overextended, and it's hitting a very important resistance level here. So that's kind of what I expected to do next. Amazon. Why is Amazon having this big, giant, nasty candle over here? Their numbers are terrible. Their consumers are bad. Not really. A lot of people are citing, oh, Amazon went down a lot, so consumers are like, it's not that. It's just overextended. Way overextended above the Tenkan here, getting to the 1.272, which is a very important resistance level. Got rejected, waiting for the Tenkan to come out, right? Correct for sideways or correct for time. I don't know which one it's going to do. But that's kind of what I'm seeing here at Amazon. I don't think it's ready to go up yet. Last time something like this happened was here. Price went price went up a lot with a bullish cross over here. Tenkan just simply couldn't catch up, right? Price went sideways, even correct through price here in August with this big, giant, scary wick down here, touched the 0.786, grab the liquidity that is necessary, and then now it's going up, right? Now you're a little bit too far overextended, so people are bullish on Amazon, right? Resistance when we're extended. I don't know what to tell you, right? Google, is it overextended? No, not really. Actually, I think Google is at a pretty good spot. It's trying to push about the 1.618 here. Was not able to do that. Got rejected, came back down. Where is it at right now? 1.414, right? It got really close to the Tenkan here. So I don't think Google is overextended anymore. I think Google is actually a pretty good spot. If you're also looking for RSI, it also looks a little bit tired as price went up a little bit here. RSI didn't really go up a little bit, so I think it needed to kind of cool down, and this might be the cool down that it needs. Can the cool down happen a little bit more? Can it go down a little bit further to like the 1.272? It certainly can. It certainly can, but I don't think it needs to, right? If I turn on the Ichimoku cloud over here, you can basically see the market symmetry is that initially we're hoping to break about this horizontal gain level over here and backtest and go higher, but we're simply just got a little bit tired because of this bearish, like relative bearish divergence. Our side didn't really go up that much and price went up a little bit too far. Yeah, so I think it's fine now. I think Google's probably a little bit healthier. Apple's healthy. Apple is very healthy because it backtest the rising ticket here almost perfectly, right? Price went up a lot, had to cool down through price, right? Price went up a lot, had to cool down through price, right? Had to cool down through time here as well. But I think we're getting ready to maybe getting our next look up here for Apple. I think Apple actually looks pretty decent. Got rejected here at 2.272, kind of like NVDA, right? So this is kind of how far it's gone. We'll see whether or not we're able to push through 2.272 together with NVIDIA and push up higher. We'll see. That's the Mag 7 right there. I'm going to do a little bit of chart requests here. I think somebody asked me about MO. I guess MO is Ultra Group. This is the tobacco company, I guess. You look up here on a monthly, actually looks pretty good. Hey, welcome, Matt. And I hope the rest of you are able to join this stream here because the other stream got murdered by glitch. But welcome now. You had a bullish katana here working out, bounce off of the Tenkan. Looks like once it going, you got a little bit of morning star look to it. This is a bullish formation. Down candle, doji, up candle. This is a bullish formation. It looks like wants to have further bullish continuation. Right. I'm looking at this chart. I did not look at this chart before. I'm just literally just doing on a fly here. From the previous all-time high here, going all the way down to this wick down here in the COVID level. Where are we at right now? Where we're trying to push through the 0.618. If we're able to push through the 0.618 with this morning star formation, rather than a little bit of false breakout over here, if we're able to push back out, then it's going to go get to the 0.786 over there. That's going to be a big challenge. You see how it got rejected over here? That's going to be a pretty big challenge. If we're able to push through that, then it's going to go a lot higher. But if we're not, then prices end up having come back to 0.618, grab more energy before going up a lot higher. But I like the Tenkan here as support. If I just put the 20-month moving average, you can also see the Bollinger Band is expanding. This is a bull trend in development, and this is a simple, much needed cool down because it just went way too far above the upper Bollinger Band for way too many times. This is kind of like a lot of the MicroStrategy kind of candle. It just had to cool down, and that's exactly what it's doing right now. So yeah, let's see if we can push about the 0.618. If we're able to challenge 0.786, $63.87. If we're able to break through about that, then you're talking about some potential all-time high price action here. Very nice double bottom over here. If you count the double bottom right there around 35 and right there around 55, I think the target is going to be around 70, 75, somewhere up here, right? Might as well be all-time high. That's going to be the target. Anyway, next up is ASTS. I don't really have much else to add. This is a bullish engulfing candle, engulfing all five, almost all five, right? It looks like it wanted to engulf all five, but it didn't really quite do that. Engulf 4 candles over here on declining volume. This all it takes just a little bit of volume to come in and end up doing that, right? Look at the monthly Ichimoku cloud. You can see that the Tenkan Kijun over here was serving as great support. So it is 0.786, very important FIB level. This is a lock FIB level. Bounced off of that. Looks like it wanted to just keep going higher. I think the next target is going to try to re-challenge the 1.618 here around $40. A lot of people think that the cycle might end a little bit earlier, and that's entirely possible. It can end at 2.272, around $55. Sorry, let me take a sip of water here. Man, I'm like losing my voice here because I'm talking like somebody who's trying to do an auction or like a sportscaster, and I'm trying to do this for like an hour and a half, 2 hours. I don't know why I do it. I just think it's fun because I get a rush from it. But yeah, some people say that the cycle might end around 2.272, which is entirely possible. There's a pretty big bad FIB level here. Majority of the gain has already been made, right? Like price went already from $2 all the way up to like $40 in just a matter of like 4 months, 5 months. A lot of majority of gain has already been made. So if that was the burner right there, this might be like the end. Like this might be like a little bit of the wave 5 over here. I can see it, and I can see the cycle ending in 55 or 63. Right? 2.272, 2.618. I might be surprised. It might end up going a lot higher. It might end up having some crazy volume like they did over here, and just keep on pushing up higher, a lot higher over time. Right? This is the linear lock scale. If I do sorry, this is a linear FIB retracement level. an extension level. If I do log scale, it's going to give you a very different look, right? If I do a log scale, it could get to 50. It could even go higher to 1.44 log scale. Like the max 7 I was showing you was like 1.44 log scale is a pretty big level, right? 73 could potentially be where it ends. If it pushes through that, 1.618, right? I think it might be, this cycle probably ends somewhere around 60 to 73 is my best guess. If it has enough energy to kind of push through a lot higher, great. I think this is a bullish formation. I think that right now the bullish band has already extended, but right now it's getting a little bit tired. So we'll see once we get up to like, you know, up here, we'll see whether or not we're able to, where's the RSI? We'll see whether or not we're able to form a higher high on the RSI. If not, then that's the cycle end right there. Anyway, that was a quick ASTS DUOL. I heard that DUOL died the other day, and it was kind of like, what are you talking about? Like DUOL, the owl, the mascot for Duolingo, they killed him. I was checking through, like, I was looking at the app, I was like looking through the app store, looking at it, and then it's got like the icon's got like the owl with the cross, like with the eyes crossed out, like the owl is dead. I'm like, you guys are crazy. So this is a bull trend. Came back down, back tested 20. Wants to keep riding up a bullish band up on the monthly chart. Nothing bearish about it. Looking at FIB levels, got rejected at 1.618. Completely normal behavior, right? Not anything to be particularly scared about. The question is more whether or not we are having any trend exhaustion here. And the bullish band is not really telling us that that's the case, right? Because it looks like it wants to re-expand. RSI on the monthly here is not telling us that to be the case. Are we having some short-term bearish divergence here? You betcha. On the weekly you do, right? Which is why you have a hard time pushing above the 1.618 because price has been going up, but it's on bearish divergence into a very important FIB level. Rejection. Understandable. Where's it going to go? Is this it? Bearish engulfing candle? Well, could come down here to the 20-week. Could come down to the 1.414 before further bullish continuation. Does it ever go down that far? No, not necessarily. Ishimoku Cloud. It might go down a little bit lower here, back test the Tenkan here again, right? Maybe next week. Who knows, right? Nobody is really able to tell you exactly where it's going to go. All I know is that it's exhausted. It needs to higher low before further bullish continuation. Higher time frame on the monthly is fine. So if you're able to hold through volatility, it's a good looking stock. Next, HES. Can I do Celsius, and can I do Peloton and Oscar? Sure, I'll do them all. Like, I think at this point I still have capacity to do like 2 chart requests, but I think at some point I'm gonna have to not do that. I'm gonna have to just pick one. But right now, sure, let's do it. HES was requested on X by a subscriber called Mr. Eastman. And it is looking okay here on a monthly because I do think initially you do have a little bit of a downtrend here, a little bit of correction is needed because things are just gotten way overextended. And this whole trend over here got exhausted, right? So we need to cool down. What happens when it cools down? Touch the lower Bollinger Band, breaks down underneath the 20, touch the lower Bollinger Band. Right now it's trying to reclaim the 20-month moving average. If it's able to reclaim that, then bullish continuation goes up. If it's not or it gets rejected there, then this whole thing is going to plummet, right? If you ask me which way it's going to go, I do not know. It depends on what ultimately end up being the case. But because I think that this whole downtrend over here was in declining volume, and because I think that price action looks like it wants to reclaim that 20-month moving average, I'm going to give it a benefit of a doubt and say that it's going to be okay. If it doesn't, what happens? It falls down to cloud over here, 120. That might be a good area for it to grab liquidity down below that it hasn't grabbed for a long time, and that might end up bouncing from there, right? Or it might just end up being a very bad parabolic downtrend because this thing's just kind of ran up for a very long time, and they might just be looking for exit liquidity over here. I don't know. It's at a very, very strong inflection point here. I think that it depends on whether or not it can reclaim the 20-month moving average. If it's able to reclaim that, if it's able to touch up a Bollinger Band here around 159 and then back test to 20, that's going to be incredibly bullish, right? So if I have it, I don't know what I would do. It depends on what my cost average is. I might end up just holding and kind of see what happens, because right now it's just literally like go either way. Or if you want to sell and try to find a better setup, that's fine too. I can see it going either way. I can't really get a good read on this based on just looking at that. But do I favor further bullish continuation? I do. I think it's like 60 going up, 40 going down. Next, ELF. What do I think about ELF? I think ELF has done what it needed to do. Let me see. I have again here. It's probably done on the weekly. So let me go ahead and look at the weekly here real quick. Yeah, on the weekly here, you can see how it basically broke through this arc, got over here, got rejected arc, came back down, couldn't hold the angle, and broke down further, right? On the GAN here, I don't really have much support level below that, which is kind of scary, right? But it's okay. Like the GAN is not the end all be all, even though it has great market symmetry here and here. It doesn't always have to like drop down to the next scan level, right? It didn't drop down to the angle here. I don't think it's necessarily going to drop down here to this angle. It's actually a pretty decent company with good fundamentals. So I'm not gonna like be that scared about it. Can it drop down further though? Yeah, it can. Look at Ichimoku Cloud down here around like the 50s. Like that's entirely possible target. Does it ever go down there? No, not necessarily, because it's touching low Bollinger Band. Does it have meet enough criteria for me to want to cash this falling knife? The answer is not yet. I see two capitulation number one, capitulation number two. Great. Sometimes when I see the Bollinger Band expanding like that, when price is underneath the 20-month moving average, I minimally want to see two touches of low Bollinger Band. I don't like the Bollinger Band being expanded like this. I just don't like it because it can keep going down further. I usually like to see the trend at least try to not do that. Maybe consolidate sideways over here, have the Bollinger Band kind of flatten, maybe contracting, and then touch it on the other side. That's what I prefer. But I'm not gonna like trying to catch a falling knife here for the investment. For trade maybe, because I think it's touched a little bit. It's a pretty good trade. I'm probably gonna end up doing some mean reversion back over to like the 110s, 120s. I think it's entirely possible, and that's a lot of gains to be made. But I just don't know whether or not it's strong enough to reverse this ABC, this bear trend immediately, right? It's probably gonna have having some time to do a little bit more of a correction, if you will. If you're also looking, I don't really have like a good fit level here to look at. I think if you're looking at a fit level, it did bounce off of some pretty important level. It got really close to 144.4 here to back test. So yeah, I don't know. That doesn't really tell me that this is it. No, it could still go down lower. I'm not seeing enough criteria for me to want to get into it. Although if you want to get into it, I think it's a pretty good trade. It could bounce up to the 110, 120, and kind of go up sideways over here, and it just goes down. The same thing happened with Phase. You can see how you have a pretty bad downtrend over here, and it bounced off the lower Bollinger Band. You think that was the bottom. It bounced. It is a pretty good trade, right? All the way from the 70s all the way to like 130s. That would have been a really great trade, but it just ended up making another leg lower, right? So I think that ELF has some potential to do that. That's what I'm saying. I don't want to necessarily get into it right now. Celsius. Let me drink some water here. Just give me 1 second. Woo. You guys are making me work. I'm going to do Doge when I do some of the crypto towards the end. I'm going to cover Bitcoin, Ethereum, Doge, maybe XRP, and maybe JASMY. Somebody asked specifically about JASMY, so I'm going to cover that later. What I think about Celsius, I think Celsius is bouncing off exactly as expected. You can't just have a downtrend like that without having a little bit of a dead cat bounce, right? I think this is what it is. Is a bullish engulfing candle, engulfing over the last 4 months of price action. Great job. Where's the higher high? I don't see the higher high. So if I don't see a higher high, is still the falling knife is still at risk for making a lower low, right? Because I'm not seeing a trend reversal here. You can also see how the 20-month moving average is still negative sloping, right? Up in the 40s. If you're in it for investment, it might still kind of bounce around. I was just showing you what ELF did, right? Or not ELF did. I was showing you what Phase did, right? Phase even touched the low Bollinger Band. Celsius didn't even touch the low Bollinger Band, right? You have capitulation, yes. Usually these things capitulate twice, right? So I'm skeptical in terms of long-term trend, But if you want to like trade this thing, I think it's a good trade. You know, if you were to buy the bottom of the cloud, maybe sell at the negative sloping 20-month moving average that got close to it. That would have been a good trade. Or sell where the Tenkan rejects price. That could be a good trade. Do I want to enter Celsius? No. I've never really seen a big, bad, negative trend as powerful as this, right? Touch the cloud. Last time Touch the Cloud bottomed, right? At least minimally went sideways here for about 6 months before going up again. So minimally speaking, I think it's got a little bit of opportunity cost, if you will. So that's what I think about Celsius. But I'm not bearish on it short term. I'm just not sure whether or not it has made its way out yet. Peloton is a pretty decent chart. If I'm going to put a 20-month moving average here with the Bollinger Band, I think this is wave 1. I think this is wave 2, and it's trying to start its wave 3. Whether or not it's going to come down a little bit further back to the 20-month moving average, that is remain to be seen. It may not have to, and I think we might already have the correction that we needed to go higher because it bounced right over to 0.382. No, sorry, 0.236. I'm just making random numbers up. It bounced over 0.236 and seemed to be finding support there, right? So so it doesn't necessarily have to go down that much further. Look at Ichimoku. It's also stuck in a range here. Got rejected here at the Kijun. We might come back down a little bit lower to the Tenkan here. 6.86. That's another support level down below. If it decides that it needs to correct down, grab more liquidity, bit of a solid base before going a lot higher, right? That's possible. So I'm never going to say that it's going to move from here. It's still stuck in the range, and it can still test the bottom of the range, and it can kind of stay around there for a little bit longer than you'd like. All right, low gains. Actually, no, I think Jay Gonzalez. Let's talk about yours. What do I think about HUMA sites? I think HUMA sites is a little bit iffy right now. I gotta be completely honest with you, because I look at the 20-month moving average. Initially, I was hoping this thing would hold, but nah, ended up breaking down underneath of it on low volume, granted, right? So this whole impulse right there really looks like it could potentially be a wave 1. This whole thing right there could still be a wave 2. I wouldn't rule it out. If I pull up a little bit higher time frame, yeah, even 6 week doesn't look good. If I pull up 2 months, yeah, it still doesn't look good. Like it's starting to lose its momentum. This whole thing right here initially could have been wave 1, but it's starting to lose its momentum. So I don't know. Like it didn't really hold some of the critical support that I was hoping it would hold. It also got rejected in Tenkan Kijun over here. Let's look at a weekly and see if I see anything here. Broke down underneath the Ichimoku cloud on the weekly. On the 2 week, it's breaking down underneath the 2 week. So I think there's a little bit of hope here on the 2 week. If we end up closing back inside the cloud next week, this is 2 week, right? So this candle is going to close the next week. If this turns to be just a little bit of a wick, and we close back inside a 2 week Ichimoku cloud, then you have a chance. Then you have a chance, go boom, 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 and just kind of make your way up. Even if you close back inside the cloud, you might end up just also kind of follow the cloud here, and you might still have to re-challenge the cloud up above later. But maybe the only thing I'm seeing that's a little bit more positive is like the 2 week Ichimoku cloud. So be mindful, right? LUMN. LUMN Technologies. What do I think about this stock? Look at the weekly. Broke through the cloud, bounced back to the cloud, back test on low volume. Looking pretty decent. Looking pretty decent there. So I think that it's going to hold here because there's not much volume as it is on the downtrend here. So I think it's probably going to end up holding. So this thing has just been a dog. Like this thing has just been a dog. It doesn't really have a higher high yet, you know, compared like to the macro part of it. If I just do a monthly, it still hasn't had a higher high. This is still a parabolic downtrend, which is just absolutely amazing. Look at the Bollinger Band though. It does look like it wants to change the trend. This looks like wave 1. This looks like wave 2. And with the volume, it looks like wave 2 is ending soon. You do have a little bit of resistance here at the Ichimoku on the monthly though, right? So let's see if we build up enough energy to kind of push through. We got kind of rejected here to the cloud. If we were to push through this cloud, back test the cloud and go up, that would be wave 3. Looks like it might be setting up here based on a 21 moving average. So, all right, that was that. HIMS. What did HIMS do? Very simple. I was talking about the Max 7, I was talking about Palantir, I was talking about all that. HIMS did the same thing, got rejected at 1.4 and 4. It's classic. Like you just have a big pump up to the 1.4 and 4, got everybody super euphoric with like a 20-something% per day pump right up there. And then you look like you're going to have a breakout of that zone, but nope, end up getting rejected on huge volume, right? It's still an inside candle. Even though it's huge volume, it's still an inside candle. Some people say inside candle with huge volume could signal further reversal. It's possible. It's possible. If it's further reversal, it could just come back down to the 1.236 here around $43. That would be the next level, right? But it's also got the Tenkan and Kitchen down here. Kitchen is around 43. Tenkan is up here around 48.5. That could hold, right? There's still a possibility that could hold. The entire time what this thing is happening right now is price is simply just way outside the upper Bollinger Band on the weekly. And it simply just needed to come back and back test the upper Bollinger Band here on the weekly. It did that. So does it have to go down a lot further? Not necessarily. Could it go down further because it's such a high volume candle over here? Inside candle could go down a little bit further. Yes, it can, right? But does it change the trend? No, it does not. Looking at RSI. Look at RSI. I'm not seeing any bearish divergence anymore. Initially, it had been going up on bearish divergence. I think that has already been resolved with this down move over there. Right now, it's just going up here. I'm not seeing any bearish divergence here at all on the weekly. On the monthly, I'm not seeing any bearish divergence here at all. I think there's going to be some bullish continuation. And these kind of like plus or minus 20, 30, 40% move in a month is completely expected for a stock like HIMS. Looking at the monthly Bollinger Band, is still very impulsively expanding. The low Bollinger Band is still all the way down to the negatives. There's really no sign of this trend getting exhausted as far as I'm concerned. I think I favor further bullish continuation, and simply just a little bit overextended into an important fit level here. It needs to cool down. How long does it cool down for? How bad does it cool down for? Nobody knows. Okay, but that's the trend. Trend's your friend. If you're an investor, HIMS will go higher probably. I'm not seeing any warning signs yet. Intel. I'm seriously speeding through. Oh, and Oscar is next. I'm seriously speeding through this like a maniac. I'm getting a little bit of high from it, actually. I'm sick. I'm sick in the head. Got a little bit of Morningstar look to it, right? Down candle, closer to Doji, not exactly, but green candle over here, bullish engulfing so far. It looks like it wants to push up here minimally back to retrace back to the mean to $32. I don't know if it's going to make a higher high because this is a downtrend, right? Because this is a lower high here compared to that, and a lower low compared to that, right? So even if you have a little bit of a trend reversal here short term, you might still get rejected here at a negative sloping 20-minute moving average around 32, 31, 32, right? Unless the price proves to me that it's able to be impulsively pushed through to get back up to the upper Bollinger Band, maybe even make a higher high. I'm going to be a little bit more skeptical. This could be a great trade all the way up here to the 20-minute moving average. And my primary case is that it gets rejected there. Look at how it also is getting rejected here at Tenkan. Right. Technical analysis kind of makes sense. I do think that it's probably got enough energy to kind of push through higher. It's probably going to push through the Tenkan. It's probably going to get to the 20-minute moving average is my best bet. That's going to be my primary case. Got rejected here. Come back down, hopefully form a higher low. Then you can talk about some potential trend change here. We'll see. It's not showing me enough promise yet. It did bounce on the low Bollinger Band twice. It only has capitulation once. So I don't really buy this stock has necessarily bottomed. I'm not really seeing like, okay, so I do see bullish divergence here being built up right over here for about 2 years, right? On the monthly, I do see bullish divergence then being built up. Is there chances this thing is bottom because of two low Bollinger Band bounce and a monthly bullish divergence? I think it has, right? The only thing I don't usually like to see a second capitulation. I only see one. So, yeah, whether or not that favors it or not, I don't know. OSCR, Oscar Health. Pull up over here. What's happened with Oscar Health? She's got a little bit around the top over here. Why does it have around the top? The reason why is because on the way up over here, it got tired. You can see how price kind of went up here a little bit and RSI kind of going down here a little bit. it got tired and it just needed to cool down, backtest some things where it did backtest, 20-month moving average. Are we holding here so far? Yeah, we are. Let's hope this hold and have further bullish continuation, because if it doesn't, if it breaks down into 20, then that's it, right? But you're at support. So when you're support, lean bullish. You also backtest the 0.618 here, almost backtested, not quite there, but almost backtested. So the way I see it is it could backtest it again, but I think it's done enough sufficient job getting stuck inside the golden pocket here between the 0.618 and 0.786. And it's probably going to end up pushing above once it's able to confirm this backtest of a rising 20-month moving average. If it breaks down underneath of that, be a little bit more cautious, right? Because a lot of gains have already been made. Ultimately, I see this being wave 1, wave 2. This is probably wave 3, wave 4. I don't know how low wave 4 is going to be. And then you're going to have wave 5. Wave 5 might just end up pushing through and get to a previous all-time high here, and that could be it. It could push a little bit higher maybe, right? But I don't know whether or not I would guarantee that would happen. So, all right, guys. I think if you ask about coin Amara, I am going to talk a little bit more about that on the second half of the live stream, which is going to be after maybe a 5-10 minute break, because I really need to drink a lot more water and save my voice. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and pull up Bitcoin here. I'm going to send a little bit of a message here to let people know that I'll be back. Whew, that was a pretty crazy speed there, wasn't it? I'm going to timestamp that later and yeah, be impressed. I'll be back. Let me type here. I'm going to say be back in 5 to 8 minutes. So it's going to be 6:35 to 6:38 p.m. Eastern. All right. I'll be back. Higher target is probably showing a lot of FIPS over here for RDW. I'm looking at the 1.236 here around $29, 1.44 around 44, and also 1.61 around 71. It can go sideways here for quite some time, though. I don't know when it's going to be done consolidating. It's always one of these things with these stocks, like you just don't know whenever consolidation period is, it's done. So anyway, hi, hey Vivian, welcome. Thank you for joining. I probably sung a little bit too much and did a little bit too many videos earlier. But yeah, I think I'm done with your chart request with the exception of the crypto stuff. So right off the bat, let's just go ahead and get to Bitcoin here. If you look at Bitcoin, I'm going to look at a little bit of lower time frame here, and I'm going to look at a little bit higher time frame here. We kind of change things up here a little bit. If I look at a lower time frame, I think I got a daily GAN here. Let me see, where's my daily GAN? Is this it? I think it's probably the fourth one. Yeah, this is it. So if you do a daily GAN, I'm going to turn volume here. It's a little bit too distracting, but 360 and 500 for Bitcoin. Great market symmetry. Arc, horizontal, horizontal, arc, arc, horizontal, horizontal, angle, right? A very beautiful 45-degree angle here. Going sideways for about 20 days, doing absolutely nothing. Could it go down back to 91? Sure, it can. 91,000, sure it can. Does it have to? It already did that multiple times. I don't think we need to. This look a little bit like an Adam Eve kind of thing. But regardless, like some people call, oh, this is a head and shoulder. You see how this head and shoulder didn't work out? Haha. Head and shoulders don't work out all the time, right? And people saying, oh, it's an inverted head and shoulder. Haha. Like it doesn't matter. It's stuck in a range, right? It looks like, to me, it looks like it wants to gravitate back up here to the arc. It looks like it wants to gravitate back up here to arc because it's been stuck in a range. Top of the range is 108,000. Bottom range is 91,000, right? It's stuck in a range before proven otherwise. If it's stuck in a range, it's going to want to challenge back up the range, right? Because you already tested bottom of the range over here. It's been testing bottom of the range, found huge support, right? Great demand over here. Another candle over here, great demand, right? Up here, great rejection from like 108,000. So we're just kind of stuck in the range over here. If it's stuck in a range, what's it going to do? It's going to break out of the range, right? If it's it's stuck in a range over here too. If it's stuck in a range, if it just tests the bottom of the range, where's it going to go? It's going to go back to the top of the range and test it, right? I think it's going to go back up to 108, and it's coincidental. I think it's going to go up to the arc up here. We'll see how it reacts up there. But I think that's probably what it wants to do. If you look at the Bollinger Band, does it have enough energy to push through? Yeah, it's squeezing. It's the tightest it has ever been. I haven't seen the Bollinger Band squeeze this tight for the entire cycle yet, right? Yeah, well, I mean, I guess this is pretty squeezier in June 2024 before this big giant downtrend. So I favor this squeeze here being a very powerful move back up to 108,000. Who knows what it's going to do? It's Bitcoin, right? Nobody really knows for sure. We're still stuck underneath the 20-day. So who am I to say that it's just going to reverse trend, go a lot higher? I don't know. But that's kind of what I'm looking at here. A lot of people are getting extremely frustrated about Bitcoin doing absolutely nothing for 20 days. Who cares? Whenever it's done consolidating sideways over here, it's going to make a big move. And it's going to say, hold my beer, right? Look at Bitcoin dominance. It did look like it's trying to drop down back here to the low Bollinger Band. That's what it looks like to me on the daily chart, right? On the higher time frame here on the weekly, it still looks bullish because it is still a higher high here until proven otherwise, but it looks exhausted with the RSI going down and the Bitcoin dominance going up. I think this whole trend is exhausted. I think it's probably going to have a lot of weakness moving forward, and I think that's going to allow other crypto assets to do better over time. One of which I'm eyeing right now, which is extremely underperforming, is Ethereum. What do I think about Ethereum? I think two things. One is I think this big giant thing over here is an ascending triangle. Ascending triangle leans bullish. When I see an ascending triangle that's been building up for like 4 years, I'm just looking and just like, man, this thing's like a beauty. I think whenever it breaks out, it's going to be very powerful. It's going to be extremely powerful when it breaks out. Consolidation is your friend if you are patient. A lot of people are saying that it looks nasty. I don't know what's nasty about an ascending triangle. There's nothing nasty about an ascending triangle. An ascending triangle is lean bullish, right? Some people are saying, oh, but I thought ascending triangle is bearish. No, there's nothing you're talking about ascending wedge that's leaning bearish, but ascending triangle is bullish. Why is it bullish? It's because you're eating all the supply zone up here, and you have increasing demand to kind of push price up a little higher over time. And whenever you end up having people accumulating enough, whenever it ends up just getting to the end of the road over here, which I think we're getting close to, then things are just going to explode from there, right? If you're looking at a different way to look at it, I have kind of like a little bit of a VWAP analysis here. VWAP stands for volume weighted average price. And I talked a little bit about this when I was talking to Charting Guy. What you're really seeing here is you have volume weighted average price. Basically tells you that if you start at a certain point, and then the point moving forward, whether or not the holders or buyers, whether or not they're underwater. If they're underwater, then price is going to be underneath the REVOP. If they're in profits, unrealized profit, then it's going to be above the REVOP, right? The last cycle, VWAP just turned out being resistance here. When we broke it, it didn't even bother back testing. It just went up to the moon. This time, I think we're a little bit more like systematic. The cycle is a little bit longer. I think the reason why is because global liquidity is taking a longer time to break out. Maybe it never breaks out. I don't know. Maybe all the thesis is wrong, but but I cannot ignore the fact that just looking at Bitcoin chart with every single cycle, with it wanting to break out, before it does that, before it goes up to the next arc, it has to break out of the global liquidity resistance zone that lasts for anywhere from like two and a half years, and then back test it, and then we can go higher, right? Last cycle, when we went up to the arc up here with this huge liquidity cycle up, it had to break this resistance zone over here, back test it, and then we go higher, right? At the same time, back test the arc over here, and then it goes higher. Same thing over here the cycle before, where where it basically have a hard time breaking above this zone over here. Broke through it, back tested, got the green light, liquidity went up higher. I think it's happening right now. We're at a very, very similar area. I think it's probably happening right now. So if global liquidity is going up higher, I think that Bitcoin dominance also generally follows this too. But Bitcoin dominance usually drops during this parabolic move up with Bitcoin, right? Ethereum, same thing is happening with Ethereum in general. And just put them into money supply. Ethereum is happening, the same thing generally happens to Ethereum, because if you see the entire bear market, you're stuck underneath this resistance zone. The entire bear market last time, you're stuck underneath the entire resistance zone right there, right? It's not until you break through a back test that's when Ethereum moved, right? It's not until you break out back test that's when Ethereum has a potential chance for moving. Looking at the GAN here, I have like some feeling, like some crazy GAN where if it breaks through the zone, kind of like how it did over here, it could go up to like 30, 40,000. Take it with a grain of salt. There's no guarantee anything's gonna like happen the way that I do. I do have some targets that are kind of higher above. If you believe in like linear targets, then I think anywhere from like 11,000 I think is reasonable. If you believe in log targets, then I think like 14,000 or even like 42,000 is possible, depending on how parabolic this thing goes whenever it decides to break this like ascending triangle over here. Right now, it's get back stuck inside a golden pocket, between the 0.618 and the 0.86 actually on the log fibs, right? Finding pretty good support over here. By all means, 20-minute moving average is still serving as support. It's still holding the Ichimoku cloud. This is still a bullish chart. So if anything, this is a 3 inside candles over here. You have a hard time really trying to break down underneath this big giant green candle. So the next step, now that it's back test the cloud, now that it back tested the kitchen over here, the next step is probably going to be another push up to challenge 0.86, around $4,000, and it's probably going to push through this time. Whenever that's going to happen, there's no guarantee in terms of time. XRP, let me drink some water here. Just give me a sec. All right, I'm back. XRP looks very good. Have a hard time closing a candle about the previous all-time high wick right there. But you did break about the 0.786, which we're not able to last cycle. Right? Broke through this arc convincingly. And right now it pushed through the 0.86, right? Back test the 0.86. Once it's done is shenanigans, which can take a few months. I don't know when that's going to be. It can push up here to the 1.272 at the top of the arc right here around $8. That's what I think. Does it have to happen right away? No. It can take its time. You can do whatever it wants. It's also finding support here on the monthly Tenkan, right? So it's actually a pretty decent bullish setup here. Can it go sideways or down further over the next couple of months? It can. It was just simply way overextended about the upper Bollinger Band. It just simply needed to kind of come back and cool down here on the monthly. There's nothing bearish about this. I think it's going to go up to $8, but it might take a few months. Doge, if you are looking at Doge by itself, looking at this cycle, there's nothing bearish about it, right? I mean, like if I put up the same AM2 global liquidity supply, I do the same chart. I can even do weekly because weekly gives me a little bit more fine detail when it comes to global liquidity. I'm gonna do weekly here. And you guys, please let me know if the audio is bad or whatever, because I don't know that. Or if the video is bad or whatever, like you did last time, because it's pointless if I don't get good quality, audio or video. Just let me know if there's any issues. But if you just kind of, I'm going to delete all this crap here. I don't really need that. And going back to DUOL, the same thing like over and over again, right? Even this cycle here, I can draw this cycle over here, even though the price action was kind of like meaningless. Now, when you have a breakout and back test, that's when it moons. When you have a breakout and back test, that's when it moons, right? What do we have right now? We have a breakout and back test. We're getting ready to moon. I don't have anything else to say. I think it's stuck between the 0.618 and 0.786. We have a deviation over here, push through the 0.786 over here. And we have a deviation down here, we push underneath the 0.618. Not much to really for me to really get worried about, because I think global liquidity is going up. And I think that Doge is going to follow trend, right? Especially when there's still a lot of macro fears out there. People are still talking about these like crazy things. Like I don't understand like what there's to talk about. Monthly, as long as the monthly is able to hold the bottom of the Ichimoku cloud, I'm good. Getting a little bit iffy though, huh? Right, support. We'll see. We'll see whether or not it holds. If it doesn't, still higher low. Not the end of the world. If it doesn't, 20-month moving average is down here. It's still positive sloping. Can you buy Doge for 15 cents again? I don't know if we can. Looks like I just want to backtest this breakout zone over here around 22, 23, 24. That's what it looks out to me. Shiba, what is it doing? It's showing a little bit of relative weakness here. Sure, you are backtesting the 20-month moving average here. Looks like it's more or less holding. It's not really holding any of the monthly Ichimoku cloud stuff here at all. It's just kind of underneath of that. But overall, if I have to kind of scroll back out here, you have to look at it weekly, which I drew this Gann chart here on the weekly. I'm going to look at it weekly here. If I pull up the 100-week moving average, you can see something pretty remarkable. This Gann chart here got some pretty decent market symmetry, right? How this arc here means something. This arc here means something. Push through, went to the next arc. Have a hard time breaking about the arc until you get to a 100-week SMA. Finding support, push through the arc, backtest the 100-week moving average here again. Right, it's holding pretty well so far. It was able to hold here, and this thing flipped the 100-week from resistance here to support. Is probably going to end up pushing up to the next arc above, which is going to be a 10x from here. I'm not going to talk too much more about this. Yeah, it looks bullish to me. Gumi, it really looks bullish to me. So I don't have much else to say, especially global liquidity comes in. I think it's going to do okay. Somebody asked me of JASMY. I have JASMY. Oops, let me pull up what I have here. I have JASMY. I was hoping they would hold the angle here. It didn't hold the angle. I was hoping they would hold the Ichimoku cloud here. It didn't hold the Ichimoku cloud. Am I scared about JASMY? Not really. If I shut all of this stuff down and I just do if I just do the 20-month moving average, it's holding up pretty well, right? This is still a little bit of a higher low compared to that. Simply just didn't have the Bollinger Band expansion enough for JASMY to kind of keep going higher yet. So I'm not going to let those like lower time frame, like break down my again angle, all that stuff. I'm not going to let all that like bother me because I still think that this is still very much of a higher time frame bull trend. And I think that unfortunately on the way up, it got exhausted and it just needed to cool down, right? Price up, RSI down, cooling down right now. That's what it's doing. I'm not that concerned. Whenever it forms a higher low, it could moonshot. It can have like one big giant god candle. It can engulf all these like crazy downward candle over here. Like it doesn't really bother me at all. It was falling in Mars symmetry very well, right? Could it go down to 15 cents? Maybe. I doubt it. Maybe. I doubt it. At this point, it looks like it's just kind of hugging the angle here, waiting to see what Bitcoin does next. Bitcoin's stuck in range. JASMY just decided to kind of, go down. That's what happens. Not that bothered by it. So I can keep talking about altcoins. I think the good way to really end the altcoin would be to talk about Total 3. Total 3 is going to be the cryptocurrency market cap, excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum. And that's usually a pretty good indicator in terms of what's happening for the overall, market here. It's still holding a broad support band here very beautifully, right? It's still using that as support. I saw a lot of similarities between over here and over here, while you have a little bit of a high here, a little bit of a higher high here, a little bit of a back test of broad support band. Over here, you did end up breaking down underneath of that, but we were able to reclaim it very convincingly. So I see a lot of similarities between where we're at right now as opposed to that right there. I just see a lot of similarities between the two. I don't know how else to convince you. I'm not here to really necessarily convince you one way or another, but it just looks beautiful here. You look at Ichimoku, it's still holding Tenkan-Kishin here beautifully. This is how Palantir like upswing, before it went up, it was doing the exact same thing, broke above the Tenkan-Kishin back test them, and then just went up a lot higher, right? Building up a lot of energy over here, kind of doing what it needs to do. I think this is wave 1 over here. This is wave 2. This is beginning of wave 3. And this is like maybe sub 1 of 3, sub 2 of 3 right here. Sub 3 of 3 is going to be like a very, very parabolic trend, kind of like how it did over here. If it ends up working the same way, right? Bollinger Band is telling me the same thing on the monthly. Came back tested 20-month moving average here perfectly. Pushed up, trying to expand up a Bollinger Band to see if we can push the overall cryptocurrency market cap higher. I think altcoin season is coming pretty soon. I could be wrong, but I also think that the global liquidity part is also telling me the same thing. If I can put up the M2 global liquidity supply. Last time when it broke out that zone back test, that's when you had like the COVID candle. It just kind of moon after that, right? This time you have a breakout back test. I think we're getting a little bit ready here. We'll see. I could be very wrong, but we'll see. Talking about Total 3, I have to also talk about Coinbase, right? I mean, you can't talk about one without talking the other. Is Coinbase a bullish chart on a higher time frame? Yeah, it is. It continues to be bullish. I think that we are still building up a lot of energy here to push up higher. The Coinbase chart basically looks just like Total 3. The only issue is we have broken underneath the Tenkan up down here. Unfortunately, it happens. We just end up breaking down underneath of that. Can it go down a lot further? You can potentially even go down 190 to 191 or whatever. It can still be bullish, right? But do I think it's going to come down that far? Not really, but it can go down to like 180, 190. You can see how there's a lot of confluence on support right there. If it drops down there, like load the boat, because I think it's going to end up slingshotting from there. If it's end up going down that much further, grab liquidity. Maybe it's just coming back test and get back test the monthly Tenkan here on the Super Ichi, right around 225. That might be as slow as it goes. Maybe we're already at the end of it, right? Because why? Why do I think that might be the case? Well, let's talk about it. If I do a Gann chart from the low, from the absolute low over here, and if I do a daily, I think I did a daily. If I do a daily, I do a 1440. I'm working here real time for you. I'm showing you like how I do it. It won't touch 1440. There you go, touch 1440 there. If I do 5, immediately gives me great market symmetry, right? You can see how it's just basically been hanging around the 45-degree angle here. Touch, 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 right? Is it a little bit below that? Yeah, sure. It can be a little bit below that. It doesn't really bother me. Let me see if I set this up correctly. Yeah, I didn't, right? That's why. That's why. That's why it was breaking down underneath of that. 1440. Come on, there you go. 1440 and 5. Not 4, 5. All right, fixed it. How does it look? Perfect. Perfect, right? Perfect. Perfect back test. What else do I have here? Let's pull up some other like moving averages here. The one thing that really struck me was the 200-day moving average. It was confluence. Like here, it bounced off the angle. Here, it bounced off 200-day. Here, it bounced like maybe we're bouncing off of both. I don't know. It could be. It could very well be the case, or it could drop down lower because it can always break down lower. Like it can go down lower and grab liquidity. It can always do that, right? I just showed you that it could end up going down to like 225 or 200. Lower is always possible. Does it have to close the gap down here? I don't know. Income Shark certainly thinks that it does, right? I mean, does it mean that it has to? I'm never that absolutist about it. I'm never going to say that something has to happen. If anything, I think that the low Bollinger Band is already being breached a little bit way too far, way too fast. I think immediately the next step is going to happen. It's probably going to be a little bit of bounce back up to retrace back to the mean here, minimally, right? Because you're just talking about low Bollinger Band being stretched so far down here. And that's not normal. Sometimes you see like upper Bollinger Band being stretched a little bit too far. Things went sideways here for a long time, right? Even retrace back to the mean over here a little bit. But these things are not normal, you know, and over here, the same thing happened. At least you can retrace back to the mean here. So do I think that it's just going to go down and just close the gap from here on out? Probably not. You're probably going to end up having a little bit of a bounce. Would I buy that bounce? Probably not, because it could be a bearish backtest. I buy different levels. I buy different support levels as it goes down. I'm trying to buy here. But if it goes up, I'm not going to buy because there's a possibility of coming back down further to close the gap, right? And I'm going to try to get some cash ready here a little bit, buy whatever I can with CoinL. If it doesn't go down there, then that's it. Not all gaps have to close. Not all daily gaps have to close, right? Gaps down here didn't get close. Gaps up here got closed. Sometimes you can just leave like one runaway gap here. It just doesn't end up getting closed. It happens. It happens all the time with stocks, right? Not all gaps have to get closed, right? The gap down here didn't get closed. So yeah, we'll see. I could be wrong. I could be like, you know, a complete idiot to buy coin here, but I'm gonna keep doing it because I just think that the risk reward ratio is there. I'm gonna keep on doing it. I'm gonna talk about MSTR, talk about a few miners. Then I'm gonna end the show. How's that sound? Sounds great, right? MSTR. What do I think? I think it's gonna end up having some bullish continuation, but I don't have any big desire to build like a big MSTR position right now. I would really like to see it reclaim the Tenkan here. I think that's a necessity for it to go up a lot higher. Right now, the Tenkan is around 322. I want it to close a month back above of it before further bullish continuation. If not, it's still stuck in range, and it can still anger a lot of people, and that's fine. Why is it having a hard time having further bullish continuation? Well, because it's gone up a lot, because MSTR has gone from like $13 all the way to like $500 in a hurry, right? Bollinger Band is extended, but it's getting a little bit contracted here. It's waiting to see what happens. It's just consolidating sideways over here during this consolidation. RSI has just been going sideways, right? Price up, RSI sideways, some relative bearish divergence here. It could keep going up. It can keep going up on bearish divergence. It can keep hitting like four or five, like not five figure. You can end up hitting like 1,000, 2,000. It's possible. I think it's possible. It's still not going to be the gain that is made from like $13 all the way to 500. It can continue to make another 5, 10x from here. I think it's entirely possible, right? But I think the trend's exhausting. That's what I think. It doesn't mean that it's still not going to do well, right? Bull flag, bull flag. I was just telling you what I think about Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin is going to go up higher. So why do I think MicroStrategy is not going to, right? On a higher time frame here, there are some trouble in paradise in terms of a 3-month chart here, because I really would like to see not these wicks over here. Like these look a little bit toppy to me, but regardless, this is still about the Tenkan Kijun here. Last time it was below, it was resistance, push, couldn't push through, came back test the cloud, push through, back test the Tenkan Kijun here, got back above. Right now we're above, right? As long as we're above the 3-month Tenkan Kijun, I'm still bullish on MicroStrategy. But it's showing some signs of exhaustion. So with, take that with a grain of salt, however you take it. CleanSpark. What do I think about CleanSpark? I'm not even going to chart a lot of things here. I just want to talk very briefly about CleanSpark. It's still an ascending triangle, not ascending triangle. It's still a symmetrical triangle. It's still ranging. It's still doing nothing, and it is breaking down below some of the very important support that I was eyeing here for a very long time, including a 100-week moving average, which it was, really good resistance here, really good support over here, really good resistance over here, really good support over here. But you can see how price can start to break down underneath that here sometimes. It's not able to hold. It just kept on going down. It's very frustrating, isn't it? But the volume is also not that great. What is it doing right now? Well, it's trying to get us to ask questions in terms of what it's doing, because institutions are still buying and they're still shorting stock like crazy. I don't know what else to say, right? When it goes to the upside, it can really surprise to the upside. I think people just think that it's just going to keep parabolically up, right? Can you imagine? Did you imagine like how crazy that move was in terms of the parabola, and how it basically went from the bottom up to the top over here as a big giant parabola, right? And people thought that it was just going to keep going. People thought that it was just going to keep going. And we're just consolidating sideways over here because we needed to cool off this big giant parabola because it broke down underneath the parabola, and you're getting punished for it. What is it doing right now? It's consolidating sideways. What's the next move? Is it going to be up or is it going to be down? Depends on Bitcoin, depends on global liquidity. Depends on IWM. IWM has been suffering. And it could continue to suffer. There's a potential for CleanSpark to break down underneath if IWM breaks down, right? IWM has been sucking. It's been absolutely horrible. Like you would think that it was going to hold some levels up here. No, it didn't. It just decided, so forget it. We don't really want IWM. But the reality is it's still stuck in a range between 20 and 50. Couldn't really break about the 20 yet on the 20-week moving average. Maybe it's going to come back down here to touch the 50 here at the beginning of the week, around 216, right? Maybe it goes down lower. Maybe it goes down to a low Bollinger Band around 212. Can you imagine what that's going to do for CleanSpark, right? There's one scenario where it doesn't do that. If Bitcoin goes up and CleanSpark decides to just hold tight, even CleanSpark is at risk for going to a low Bollinger Band here around $8.24. If it does, I'm going to buy more. Okay. If it does, it breaks my wedge, I'm going to buy more. Because I'm eyeing global liquidity. I think this move is necessary to cool down, and I cannot guarantee you that it's not going to break down underneath a symmetrical triangle. Things break down all the time. Things break to the upside all the time, and it ends up being a false breakout. If it goes down, it could be a deviation, and that could be sometimes what is needed to grab stop loss and break up and then go up a lot higher from there. All of this is just speculation based on Bitcoin and based on global liquidity and based on IWM and based on the fact that institutions are accumulating. At this point, I don't have any other things to tell you and show you. that this is it. This is it. Definitely it. You're going to keep on pushing up from here. All I have to show you is it's just stuck in a wedge right here. That's all I can really show you. Mara, what am I doing? What am I seeing? It's stuck in a horizontal zone over here. It's basically what I refer to as a bullish rectangle pattern, right? Where you have a big giant uptrend here from $3 all the way to like 34, 35. And it just needed to cool off in a rectangle. That's exactly what it's doing. It's at the lower part of the range, right? It's at the lower part of the range. That's what it's doing. So I don't really have anything to say in addition to that. Again, if IWM breaks down further, can Mara break down to the lower Bollinger Band here to like $12.86? It can, right? It's entirely possible, right? But do I wait until it gets there to buy more? No. If I get down there, I'm going to try to do what I can to buy more at like $12 because I think that this is even if it gets down there, it still doesn't change the fact that this is still a range, right? Because the range, maybe this is a deviation, maybe that's the bottom of the range. I don't know exactly. But do I think it has to get down there? I don't know. I'm looking at downside targets. Whenever price gets down, it can always go down further, right? But it's on declining volume, guys. It's on declining volume. On the way up, it's on increasing volume, right? On the way down, it's on declining volume. On the way up, it's on increasing volume. This is a range. This is an accumulation zone. They're buying Mara. That's all I can say. I'm not trying to be exact here. I'm not trying to say anything. There's another thing too, I think somebody mentioned that this is a Maruboshi candle which favors further, continuation of the primary trend, which is down right now. It's possible it can go down a little bit further, right? It doesn't have to go down that much further. When was the last time I saw a Maruboshi light candle? It was over here, right? At the bottom of the range. What happened after that? Inside candle over here, right? And this inside candle over here was on increasing volume, so that was a trend change right there, and it's just ended up going up a lot higher back to the top of the range, right? The time before I saw a bearish candle was over here. This is a Maruboshi candle here too. End up going to the bottom of the range, and that's it, right? Before that, what happens? Before that, over here you have a little bit of a Maruboshi light candle, right? Not much of a wick above to below. End up having another hammer bottom candle over here. Grab liquidity down below, and back up close to the top of the range. What do I think about Mara? I think Mara is being tested to the brink right here. I think these Bitcoin miners are extremely difficult to chart, and I think if you're looking for perfection with Bitcoin miners, you're doing it wrong because they are a derivative of global liquidity. Last cycle, I'm going to turn off all this crap over here. I'm going to talk about global liquidity here. Last cycle, when did it end up breaking above? Well, you had the liquidity backtest over here, right? Whenever you do that, that's when Mara bottom and it just went a lot higher. This time we backtest here, and we are getting a little bit more ready to kind of go up here, but Mara's not ready yet. Why is it not ready yet? Because it normally lags behind. Because it normally lags behind Bitcoin, and because it normally lags behind IWM. IWM is not doing well either, which is just incredibly frustrating. But hey, it's a part of the investment journey. That's what happens. That's what happens, right? I'm going to try and line these guys up here a little bit better if I can. I think they're relatively lined up here. Let me see. Yeah, they're lined up. Last cycle, what happened with Bitcoin? Bitcoin was moving up, right? From the COVID bottom over here, Bitcoin went up from here to there, from 4,000 to maybe 12,000. Went up 3 times, right? What did Mara do? From 36 cents went up all the way to $5, right? It went beast mode, went 14x or something like that. When Bitcoin just went about 3x. Bitcoin ended up cooling down just slightly. Mara ended up plummeting down from the top range for $5 all the way down to $1.30, right? Went down 70, 80%. Extreme volatility. What happens after that? Bitcoin is making ready. It made from bottom where we were 10,000, made all the way up here to like 17,000, 18,000. It basically went up like 80%. What did Mara do? Nothing, right? Eventually, it was able to catch up, but it's just one of those things. Like I think that right now we're at a very, very similar juncture. I think this whole giant structure here is very similar to this structure over here, whereas this structure over here is very similar to this structure over here. So that's what I think about Mara. I can go through the rest of the Bitcoin miners here. I'm gonna speed run them because I gotta go at some point. Gotta save my voice here a little bit. I'm gonna speed run them real quick, right? Bitfarm, what is it doing? Stuck in a range. I'm stuck in a range here between the top of the arc over here and bottom of the arc, right? It's holding the bottom of the arc here, okay. It's holding a 0.382 here, okay. Can it pick down further? It always can. Does it have to? No, it doesn't, right? It's already tested the low Bollinger Band here on the weekly. But look at how it's stuck in range here. Top arc, bottom arc, right? 0.382 being tested at here 3 times. How's the volume? Not high. I think it's going to be okay. CIFR, what is it doing? Trying to get pushed through this angle over here. Having a little hard time doing it. I think it will push through. I think it's going to challenge the 0.76 here again. Got rejected here again last time. Came back test the arc, pushing through. Now it's having a little bit of a hard time trying to break through this resistance zone here with the angle and horizontal here. But I think it's going to break through because it's forming higher highs and higher lows. I like CIFR. The chart looks good. IREN, what did it do? Yeah, it went down like crazy, like, whatever, 16% this past week. Doesn't matter. Try and challenge 0.786 here. Key level to break above before going all-time highs. Also trying to challenge the arc up here. Building up energy to do it. Big giant bullish engulfing candle over here. Back test to the angle over here. Looks like we passed, right? Having a little bit of a trouble breaking through above. Have a bearish candle over here. Maybe having a little bit of bearish continuation. Test the angle here again. But I think that this is going to be a pretty good support zone down here for it. WULF, what happened? Broke down, trying to push above, not able to. Came back test the arc, right? It's basically that's what it's doing, right? Broke through the arc, back test the arc here multiple times. We'll see whether or not build up enough energy and challenge the 0.61 here again. CORZ, what is it doing? Broke down to 2.618 here. Unfortunate, right? Broke down the border support band here. Unfortunate. It's just basically it's just trying to hold support zone right here at the horizontal zone over here. I don't even need all those indicators. It's trying to hold support over here. If it doesn't hold, down we go, right? But look, so far it's holding. Be a little bit more bullish at support, maybe. That's what I gotta say about CORZ. RIOT, it's sucking just like the rest of the Bitcoin miners. Got rejected here to ARC again. Broke through the 0.382. Broke through the Boron support band. Broke through the Ichimoku cloud, but again, not much volume here. Not much volume here. So whatever it's trying to do, whatever shenanigans is trying to do is being suppressed, and that's okay. It's just range bound right now. Like I can't say anything else about it. It's just range bound until it breaks about the arc over here. It's just stuck. I don't know what else to say. Like even look at the moving averages. It's just stuck in range, right? Trying to hold the 20 and the 100 week moving average as support, couldn't. Got closer to 50, right? That's what it's doing. Just stuck in range. The top of range is the 200 week moving average. So we'll see what happens. It's just stuck, right? I can keep going, but I think I'm gonna like not do that, and I'm gonna go ahead and just end the show here with one more request here, which is TEM, the Pelosi special, right? What did I think about it? Well, I think that on the weekly, there's not enough for the chart on the monthly yet. On the weekly, maybe just got a little bit overextended here. It's just trying to cool down. If I do a linear fit, it got rejected here as at the 1.236, right? Way outside the upper Bollinger Band here on the weekly. Is cooling down with a bearish engulfing candle. Is the bearish engulfing candle a bad thing? Well, it's not on huge volume. It's less volume compared to this green candle over here. But you did break underneath the 0.76, right? Doesn't mean that you end up coming back to the golden pocket between 0.76 and between the 0.618. Bounce around here a little bit before further bullish continuation. Maybe this is a little bit of false breakdown below 0.786, and it's just going to end up, just having some bullish continuation after that. Maybe. I don't know exactly. Nobody knows, right? This is linear scale. If I do log, if I do lock, it hasn't even break down any of the 0.76 yet. It can go down there, maybe back test it here a little bit before further bullish continuation. Maybe look at Ichimoku Cloud. You have a Katana here. Can it go down further, even down to the Katana around $61 and back test the Katana? That's also entirely possible, right? But that's what I'm seeing. I think it just overextended and just need to come back to some level. Whether or not it's going to be 60, 61, 65, or is it going to just end up finding support here because it was a horizontal zone over here. It got rejected here. It's just back testing the same level. Maybe, right? Nobody knows. I don't know. Also, same zone over here, right? Nobody knows for sure. I don't know. I'm just telling you some of the levels here above. It's a higher high. It needs to form a higher low before further bullish continuation. All right. It's been close to 2 hours. I always find these things to be insane, but fun at the same time. And I think I have addressed all of your requests. Let me just refresh here. Sometimes people like leave comments on my videos while I'm doing a live stream, expecting me to see it. Okay, I don't see any comments. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go and make some timestamps. I'm gonna have some sake to soothe my voice. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Sorry about a little bit about the raspy voice here. It's just been a lot of videos I've been making. If you guys ever want to see, there should be plenty of content that I push out every week. On the weekend, I don't even see how you guys can watch like a 2-hour live stream and watch some of the other videos I made. Like, I don't know how you're gonna find the time to do any of that. But if you want extra, hey, thanks, Brian. Hey, better late than not being here. Yeah, I know, Pennington 3. If you want extra content, I also collaborate with Danny. I look at his charts. He sends me like about 10 charts. I'm also a part of his Patreon, by the way. He sends me like 10 charts. He's got a really good system. If you want to like a little bit more objective ways to look at charts, look no further than Danny's charts. They're good charts. I make videos exclusively for him. I think I usually make like 3 to 4 videos just exclusively for him. The reason why is because they're his charts. I don't want to share it with my page. I don't have a Patreon. I don't want to share it with my members. But if you want me to yap more for like another half an hour to 45 minutes, you can join his like tier 3 or whatever. I make videos for him. Feel free to do that, right? The other guys, I want to say, I think Matt, the Great Matsby also does great work. I bounce a lot of ideas off of him. Feel free to join the Great Matsby. He also runs a Patreon. He's got a chat group. Like sometimes I go on there and I just spill a bunch of nonsense. Feel free to go there too. Also love my Tesla tracker. I do a Tuesday night live stream with Tracker and with the Great Matsby. Feel free to feel free to do that as well. To just join a live stream on Tuesday night. Like we have great chemistry, I think. We just a bunch of like dudes and cats just hanging out, talking about the market, going through charts, spilling nonsense. Sometimes with me saying something completely inappropriate that the Great Matsby, he's sometimes he gets a little bit weird. He posts like these like inappropriate sexual memes. And sometimes even he says like, hey man, like I wouldn't say like some of the stuff that you say, like I'm like you say it in public, I'm just like absolutely amused. I mean, like, don't change, cat, but yeah, but feel free to join us for our live stream. We're just having fun there on Tuesday nights, usually at 7:30 Eastern. I'm also going to try to do some collaboration with some other folks too. We'll see whether or not it works out or not. But anyway, enough of me ranting on and on and on. You guys have a good night. Have a good one. Thank you for joining Danny's Patreon, guys. And you want to join Matt's too, feel free to do that. I'm done advertising. Have a good one. Bye.